Audio Jungle. When the night is so young and the day is so old, let the good times roll. When it's finally time to lose a little control, let the good times roll. You're due to check your boots, put on your dancing boots. No time to waste. Oh, ready, set, and go. Yay, fire up the show. Oh, ready, set, and go. Let the good times roll. When the night is so young and the day is so old, let the good times roll. When it's finally time to lose a little control, let the good times roll. You're due to check your boots, put on your dancing moves. No time to waste. Oh, ready, set, and go. Yay, fire up the show. Oh, ready, set, and go. Let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Ready, set, and go. Yay, fire up the show. Oh, ready, set, and go. Let the good times roll.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Talking Craps. And yes, let the good times roll. Tonight's all about experimentation. It's going to be just me and you. In fact, we've already got one person out in the green room that we're going to bring in as a special guest, and I put a link out in the chat, and I'm inviting anybody that wants to come on the show to either make a comment, ask a question, maybe give a trip report. We're going to try to bring as many people in and out as we possibly can in this particular show. Meanwhile, we're also going to be taking your questions and comments and featuring some of those as we go through the night. Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just going to be kind of an experimentation show and just see where it goes. Now, before I get too far into this, I got to talk a little bit about YouTube etiquette. Now, everybody who's on YouTube, or I shouldn't say that, most of the people that are on YouTube are interested in growing their channels. And in our research, it's telling us that you should ask for subscribes and likes in the first few minutes of the video. Now, I can tell you that I've talked to some of my friends, and we feel very uncomfortable doing that. Some don't, some do. I'm one of those that I don't feel real comfortable asking for you to give me that thumbs up or hit that subscribe button. In fact, I made a fun little mockery video that I'm going to share with you. Now, do not come on after this and give me a super chat or anything like this. This is just meant for fun, and I'm kind of curious, when we ask for those things, when we ask for those subscriptions and thumbs up, is this what's going through your mind? Friends, so I hear you want to be a crap shooter. You want to be at the big craps table in the sky at the end of the day. Well, there's only a couple of ways you can do that. For the very easy task of one like and one subscribe, you might just get there. Now, it requires a little bit more than that if you want to be dedicated and you want to make sure you have a seat at that table. Super chats, that's the way to do it. That will get you there for the low price of $5. Just one little $5. Just what you would put on a place bet. Super chat me, and I'll get you at the table. Yeah, so obviously I was having a little bit of fun with that, but that's what's going through my mind every time I ask you to hit that thumbs up. So, like I said, just having a little bit of fun with that. Give me just a second here. We've got another person joining us. I'm going to answer him and put him in the guest room. Wager, hopefully you can hear me, and we're going to keep you in the guest room for just a minute. But first up, we've got Ed. Ed is joining us live from his craps table. Let me see if I can bring him in real quick. And Ed, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Awesome.
Video's a
Welcome.
little bit delayed.
Yeah, if you're watching it on YouTube, it's going to be a little bit about maybe a 15 to 30-second delay, depending on internet quality. So, I apologize for that. So what's on
Not a
your mind,
problem.
Ed?
Oh man, I'm here to support you. You got one
Oh,
of the best shows on YouTube.
well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. In fact, let me flip this over here. Hey, oh, that worked. I'm shocked that this worked the first time.
Hey,
Yeah. So Ed,
it
I
worked.
I, I know this already, but so you've recently gotten into the YouTube game yourself, and kind of
Yeah.
tell us really quick a little bit about your YouTube channel.
Well, it's called Roll to Win Craps, and it was a thing I decided to do for a New Year's resolution. I decided it was a lot easier to do that than to give up food for diets and all that kind of stuff. So we
Yeah.
Yeah, my son has been successful with one in a totally different niche, that kind of thing, and so I've leaned on him a little bit for just a very few pointers, and I really wanted to do a channel just to help me improve. Um, I'm noticing that I'm focusing more on my shots, my grip, my stance, that kind of thing. And then we also like to have a little laughter every once in a while, where I try to mimic some of the other shooters out there in on YouTube on some of their channels. They've got a fancy shot or a this or that, so I go in and see if I can mimic it and make a roll or two out of it.
Yeah. What do you call it? You make it work, or does it work, or something like
If
that? You
they
have
can
a
do it, why can't I? If they can do it,
yeah.
why can't I?
That was actually the premise for my show when I first started out. I called it Same Bet, and it wasn't necessarily because I thought Same Bet was a good bet. It was I wanted to take the same thing that I was seeing on other people's channels and see if I could do it. So it was a very similar premise for getting started. So, uh,
Right.
and you're 100% right. That scrutiny of people watching you is a little bit added pressure, and it helps you up your game just a little bit.
It does. It's I can tell in the last 2 or 3 weeks certain things have improved on my grip and on my toss.
Yeah,
And I think because I'm concentrating more, because I've actually got the camera on. I always recorded myself anyway,
yeah.
um, but I didn't do the script and do the talk and all that kind of stuff with it per se. But it's made a difference for me.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy actually how difficult it is concentrating on your grip and your stance and your toss and your landing zone and your bets and your speech and you're trying to put a
I'm
good
a
quality show.
I'm not a good stick man, and I'm a terrible dealer. I can
Yeah,
promise you that. So I make a lot of errors on my payouts to myself because I'm doing so many things. And what I'm really thinking about is, man, that was a good shot. I need to do that again.
yeah, yeah.
Like I'm at the real table. So
Yep.
it's been a good
Well,
thing.
Ed,
Good thing.
if you get a chance, if you would just drop your a link to your YouTube channel out here in the chat so people who are watching might be able to find you. And anything else before I let you go
I'll
and
go
head to
in.
the next one?
No, I appreciate it.
All right,
You have a
Ed,
good
thank you so
show, and I
much.
enjoy it every week.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead and bring up the next person. Next one's going to be Wager Me This. We've got Wager out there. Let me see if I can actually make this work here. Assign the guest. There we go. There we go. Jacob, you there?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, man. What happened to our Chiefs
It's a
last
little
night?
delayed.
Yeah, yeah. If you're watching it on YouTube, there's going to be about a 15 to 30-second delay there between our speech. So, yeah. So I think you just turned down the volume on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to ask you one question.
Okay.
And that question is, and this is a tough one now, do you think dice control is real?
Yes. Yes, I do. And the reason I say that is I have been at the tables where the shooters are very consistent. Now, I think it's important to say what dice influence really is. Dice influence is the avoidance of the 7. It's not necessarily sharp shooting a point or, let's just leave it at that. It's the avoidance of the 7. So it's the SRR, the 7 to rolls ratio is higher than the average. Now, depending on who you listen to, the average might be a 6 or an 8, somewhere in that range, depending on who you listen to. But I have been at the table with several shooters that are consistently higher than the average.
Okay, so second part.
Okay.
If that's the case, then why do people try to avoid the hardest number to avoid?
That's an excellent question, and I think it's a mental thing. So if you are if you have some influence, and you let's say you set for the 7s, the all 7 set. A lot of dice influencers will set the hard way set. Well, flip one of those dice over two rolls, and you've got the all 7 set, and then just nail the don'ts, right? So I really think it's a mental thing. I know it is for me. It's like I want to play on the positive side. I want to go for 15, 20, 25 rolls, and I want to make as much money as I possibly can. But if I were really smart about it, I would probably rethink that, put a little bit more money on the don'ts, and then just nail that 7 as fast as I possibly could. So
yeah, I just always wondered that because you've had a lot of experience with the real professional dice controllers, the guys that teach it for real, for real money. So these guys know what they're doing. There's no doubt about it. They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
but I wonder why they play against the 7.
And the only thing I can think of is that they are that good, that maybe they can win more money off the come bets and the odds or large place bets with a rapid regression. Depending on which camp you subscribe to, they have different betting strategies. But none of them really seem to tackle the don'ts. That's an excellent question, Jacob. I wish I had a better answer for you.
Well, that's all I wanted to know.
All right, man.
Thank you for having me on.
You bet. We'll talk to you later. All right. So Slambright, I saw you trying to call in. I couldn't get you fast enough. So if you would, just give me a call back. And meanwhile, let's see if we can take some of these questions that are coming in. We've got 68 Parlay out there. Good evening, 68 Parlay. And D-Rob, I'm not sure what you're going for there, but you're a naughty boy. I think there's probably a story behind that one. Okay, I'm going to just keep going here. Mike with the dice. Dice control is real. Yep, I agree with you, Mike. I've seen enough to know that there's something to it. Can everybody do it? I don't know. I don't know about that. I know that I've been trying very hard for a couple of years, and my own SRR is not that great. I've taken a lot of courses and spent a lot of time, but I don't spend enough time. I spend more time making YouTube videos than I do down at my craps table, and that's probably something that I should flip around just a little bit. Roll to win craps. Yep. Thanks for joining the show. Okay, here we go. We've got Slambright joining. Good evening, Mr. Slambright. Can you hear me? I'm not sure if you can hear me. Let's try this again.
Oh my God, I'm ugly, Dave.
Whoa. You're like Gene Simmons' cousin or something. Yeah, you got that. How are you doing tonight, Mr. Slambright?
I'm good, Dave. How are you, man?
Good. Yeah, thanks for joining the show, and I'm going to probably keep you on as another guest, a perpetual guest here, as other people join the show. So I might bring you in for an extra commentary or two.
Oh no. YouTube etiquette, right?
YouTube etiquette. Yeah, what'd you think of that? Is that so? When people ask you to give that thumbs up or give that subscribe, does it sound like an evangelistic preacher trying to convert people?
No, I mean, you're trying to grow your channel. That's how it works. I mean,
yeah,
you're not begging, right?
Well, it feels like begging, to be honest with you. There are a few people that are good at it. It feels natural to them, or it comes off as natural. Saying, hey, if you like the show, give me a thumbs up. Or, my friend Rick over at Let It Roll, he's very natural at it. And he's very genuine and sincere.
Yeah.
So
he's a very charismatic man.
Yeah.
He's a very charismatic man.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about that, Dave, because I'm always going to be in the chat. yelling at people for not hitting that like button on you. So
Yeah, my wife commented on that one a couple of weeks ago. She says, "Man, he's a really good advocate for you."
well, someone's got to. You don't do it
no
for
doubt.
yourself.
No doubt. So real quick, I'm going to pull up a comment. We got Turtles, Midnight Craps out there. Just wanted to say thank you, Mr. Midnight Craps. I do have your chip right here. I'm sorry it's not in focus, but yeah, there. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And Slambright, I did see your comment before. Yes, this is the Slambright chip.
Oh
right
man,
here. Yeah.
that Slam chip is awesome.
That camera is close, Slam.
Yeah.
Wager me this like that Gene Simmons cousin.
Adopted redheaded step cousin, I think.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to put the link back out here and see if anybody else is interested in joining the show. Just click on that link and follow the directions, and we'll get you on here in just a minute. So
Dave, I heard in the chat apparently Blackhawk is opening up later on this week.
Yes. I have a good friend that's a bus driver up in the Blackhawk area, and he texted me a couple of nights ago, said the lodge is going to be open Thursday, I believe it is. And if he's right, what was it? Central. Gosh, I'm going to get this wrong.
Central City?
Central City Century Casino opened up their tables today. That's unconfirmed, of course, but we are starting to get a lot of people with a lot of chatter saying, hey, Blackhawk and Central City are opening back up, which is a very good news for us. You know, Colorado is kind of a good barometer. They're quick to shut it down and quick to open it back up when things are getting a little bit safer. You know, in fact, my wife and I had, I'm going to pull it up really quick here. Give me just 1 second. Ooh, hey, we've got Mike with Dice joining. I'm going to answer his call real quick. Mike, hang in there for just a few minutes. We'll get back to you here in just a second. All right. So let me play this really quick. All right. So, yeah, earlier this week, my wife and I, we've been monitoring the numbers and things like that, and we've been cooped up in the house and wanted to get out. It's been a little while since we've actually made it down to the casino, and we actually went to 2 different casinos last weekend. The first one, First Council Casino. I'm sorry, no, take that back. Native Lights Casino. That's where we played this Bubble Craps machine right here. I have a love-hate relationship with that thing. I have tilted more with that Bubble Craps machine than any other machine or any other game, period. It just gets the best of me, and I need to stay away from it. But I also had the chance to go to First Council Casino and play with some real dice. It's the first time I've shot real dice since, I'm going to say October. Now, Slambright, I know that you and I were in Tonkawa, but I don't necessarily consider that electronics crap table a real dice table, only because I can't play the way I want to play. I have to lean too far. I'm like Shamu that's laying on top of the table so I can reach in far enough to get the dice with my little T-Rex arms. So so it was fun to be back in a real casino playing real dice. And I tell you, what's really weird is my hands were shaking. It's like, I've been playing this game for so long, I shouldn't be shaking. But, I was like a caffeinated, I don't know, somebody with a seizure just going, how can you have any kind of dice control when you're doing that?
It's different when it's the real thing, so...
Yeah, it sure is.
Like I told George, I ain't betting in the real casino what I do on LFC. So
yeah, no doubt. In LFC, Live Fantasy Craps is just that. It's fantasy craps. Now there are a couple of players that might be able to play at that level, but not me. And certainly not me. And
certainly
I'm
not
a
me.
low
Either.
roller. In my heart, I am a low roller, and I probably always will be. But I'm okay with that.
Nothing wrong with it.
All right, Mr. Slambright, can you hang in there for just a few minutes? I'm going to go ahead and flip over to Mike with Dice and see if I can bring him on. All right, hang in there, Mike.
In my heart, I am a low roller, and I probably always
Hey,
will.
Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's the first time I've actually talked with you guys, so I watch and listen all the time.
For just a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead.
So we've got you. I think you're watching on YouTube. Can you go ahead and turn the volume on YouTube down just a little bit? And
sure. Hold on. Let me do this. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. Sounds great.
All right. Yeah, I can't hear you though. So hold on.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead and turn it back
Hold
up.
on.
We could deal with the echo a little bit.
Yeah.
The joys of live
Well,
troubleshooting. Go
It's a
turn the
quality
volume back.
broadcast, Dave.
Turn the volume back up.
can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me? This is not
Oh,
brought
well.
to you by Verizon, but can you hear me now?
I.
All right, I'm going to bring in a couple of comments while we're working on there.
All
Wager
right.
me this. Dave is
And
killing us with
You
the
know
video
what?
work.
Don't worry about it. Go on to the next. It's fine. I'll figure this out later.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and unassign the placeholder. I'm going to keep Mike in
Oh,
there.
I know. Oh, wait a minute. I figured it out.
Okay.
I think.
All right, Mike, you're back on.
Okay. Now can you hear me?
Yes.
Is that better?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Very good. Very good.
Much, much better. Here, let me get over to the live show. So
Okay,
yeah,
well,
I watch you guys all the time. I listen, and I truly believe in dice control. And part of it is what I notice is when you're at the casino, you have to tune everything out. You have to tune everything out and get in a zone and not worry about a lot of stuff and just concentrate on yourself. In fact, I've gotten in a zone so much I forgot to increase my bets every now and then.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
I've had that happen.
oh well.
Yeah,
You know?
I like to tell the story of when I got to play with the Dominator, and I got to play with him a couple of times within the same week, and he was very consistent in how he played. He was
Yes.
almost, I don't know. He in the zone is the best way to put it. He was not looking around. He was not distracted by anything. He was
Yes.
eyes on the dice.
Yep.
Very quiet and very professional. He knew exactly what he was doing. He did the same thing every time. And I don't know. I didn't count his rolls, but they were easily in the upper teens to low 30s. I would say in that kind of range every time he shot. And it wasn't just him. He was there with his crew doing a class, and several of his other people. A couple of weeks ago, I had Michael Feldman on. He is another fantastic shooter. Give that man the dice if you ever get a chance, and you will not be disappointed. So
Right.
I've seen it. I've seen it enough to know that I have some faith and confidence that it can be done. And
Yes.
Mike, I think like you were saying, it just takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of concentration.
Yes. And the biggest thing is like you can't pay attention to what other people are doing. Forget about who's betting what. I've had rolls where I've had the dice for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end, I've got other shooters giving me tips. I mean, they're actually giving me money
Yes.
because they made so much money on my roll.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a grinder, so I don't bet a lot. So I might have made $500, but they must have made a whole lot more, and
Yeah.
I have no idea what they're doing.
Speaking of that validation, I was at a Tonkawa Hotel and Casino. It's probably been a year about now, and there was one guy. He was kind of loud and just having a good time. And I went on a roll, and it wasn't super. Maybe it was 15, 20 at the most, and
Yep.
a couple of times. And then by the time it was about the third time to shoot, he goes, "Give that man the dice. He's a damn robot."
Yeah,
and
that's it.
that made me feel good.
15 rolls or 20 rolls, they love you because if they're big on the bets, they're making money.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're making money off you, and they're loving it. So yeah, absolutely, yeah, that'll happen. And it's just
So-
practice.
It is, but I also got to say that particular scenario was rare, right? So most of my rolls are, I would say, between 6 to 10. That's
Yeah.
where my
Yep.
average sits.
I'm 8 to 12, but we go for like 3 days. I always have that one session where things come together.
Yeah.
So you just got to do more and more of them, and before you know it, you got more and more sessions coming together. The other thing too is a lot of people stay at the table too long.
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
45 minutes, hour and 15 minutes, you're done. Get out of there.
Yeah.
Take your winnings, go home, go rest, go relax, come back later.
So, Mike, we've got a question coming in for you. Question from Wager Me This is, where do you play? He's pretty sure he's played with you.
I play in Laughlin a lot, the Aquarius, the Edgewater, and downtown Vegas,
Nice.
Binions, and I just started playing at the Plaza down there, and I really love it.
Yeah, I like the Plaza's table also.
Yeah.
When I'm in Vegas, I actually like the Plaza, and it's not necessarily just because of the table. It isn't usually very crowded, or at least it wasn't back when I was there. And this might sound funny, but I enjoyed the soundtrack, the music that they were playing.
Yes.
I had a good time there.
Yes. You know,
Let's see.
because I hate really crowded tables.
Yeah.
So if there's only 3 aside, that's great. That's the best way to do it.
Yep. And we've got Andrew, the pit boss. Hey, Andrew. Hey, AJ. How you doing, man? He says, I always encourage everyone to practice with exactly the betting that they do in a casino. That way, the betting is automatic and there's no thinking required.
Yes.
Muscle memory.
Yes.
Well, and, you know, I got to say, I agree with you. And to talk a little bit about my personal situation here is that I have tried betting strategy after betting strategy after betting strategy. And it's not necessarily that I'm trying to do it in a casino. It was can I make it work on my own table? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But most of the betting strategies that I show at home, I will never try in the casino. It's either too risky or just too crazy. In fact, I'm just like what the pit boss was trying to say. I want my bets to be fairly simple. I want them to be where I'm not thinking about it. I personally, I like the inside numbers with a press and collect.
Yes.
It's simple. It seems to work for me more often than not. And I'll do some variations on that based on some other training that I've had. But that is kind of my base go-to. It's either 22 inside or I know I'm going to be crucified for this, but I will do the iron cross and use it when I'm hitting a lot of the outside numbers.
Pun intended,
I'm big
Dave.
on 22 inside or 44 inside, and I want to be on profit in 4 rolls.
Yeah.
If I'm not on profit in 4 rolls, then I'm pulling all my bets back by my 6th roll.
Yeah.
Because that means I'm not going to have a good hand. That round is not going to be really good for me.
So Wager Me Guess this is saying, nope, I guess I'm wrong. Never played in Nevada.
All of us
All
craps
right.
degenerates look alike.
Yes.
Yeah, very true. All right, Mike, I'm going to go ahead and bring Slambright back. Thank you for joining the show.
Very good.
I really do appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
We'll talk to you later.
Talk with you later.
All right, bringing back in Slambright. We're going to assign him. There he is. He's back. All right,
So,
let's go back over.
Dave, I actually, if you don't mind my saying so, I think there's something to be said for lots of people talk about dice control. Some people talk about dice influence. I think that they're 2 different things. You can dice control, whereas, you know, you're not doing what every random roller in the world is doing and just grabbing the dice, stacking them on top of each other, like pounding them against the table and just throwing at the back wall. There's a difference between dice control, which, you know, if like you're trying to make sure that you're throwing on axis, etc. And then there's dice influence. And I think when you're talking about someone like George, who knows what sets to employ, how to throw the dice in order to get a strategic outcome, that's where that difference is coming along. So you've got your randoms, you've got a sense of control, and then you have the people like George, like the Dominator, Michael Feldman, who can actually influence the dice.
So you might be onto something there, Slam. You know, the Dominator likes to tell the story of the hard 4, where the dealer was kind of teasing him and taunting him and said, I want to see a hard 4. And so he sets his dice, and he rolls a hard 4. and,
Right.
And our good friend George, he's also very good at understanding his mechanics and understanding what the outcome of his throw is before he even throws it. And many times he's been able to call his shot. Now, I put George to use, I almost hesitate to bring this up, but king dice and his athletic analogies. There are a few guys, and George is one of them, that I put in the top 1% that I consider dice athletes, if for lack of a better term. Most people won't get to that level. They're not willing to put in the practice, or if they're even if they're putting in the practice, are they doing the mental part? Are they doing the analysis? Are they understanding what's going on?
Exactly.
Very few people, I think, get to that level, and George is one of them. All right, let's bring in a couple of questions here. Coming back over here, we've got Skill and Luck. It says, I have to say it's normal that everyone tips the shooter if they win or when they have a long run in St. Louis. Okay. Yep. Skill and Luck. I think most people are like that. For me, tipping, I like to get in tipping early, and I like it when they grow. And the reason I do that is it's a team sport. And if I'm going to tip them anyway, let's put them in the game. Let's have some fun with it. And I've actually had some success at a smaller casino when I would throw out a tip. The stick man literally took a step back from the table and gave me a clear shot because the stick man had money on the line. And not everybody's going to do that, of course, but I'm going to tip them anyway. Why not put it out there and have a little bit of fun with it?
At the very least, you're putting them in like that right mindset where they're going to make the game fun for you. Yeah. If you're standing at a table with dealers who are just surly because they've been dealing with, a-holes all day, then yeah. But if you're putting money on the line, if you're involving them, if they're getting something out of it, then they're invested in your success as much as you are.
Yeah. All right, let's go back over here and see if we can pull in a few other questions. Let's see. East Coast Craps is talking to AJ. He says, we shot together in Atlantic City with Howard. Yeah, very nice. Wager me this. Simple is one of the things I preach in the book that I'm writing. Dang it. Jacob, I meant to ask you about that. You talked about the book several weeks back when you were on the show, and I haven't heard anything lately. I didn't know are you close? Drop a comment in the chat if you would. Let us know where you're at with that book. Okay. Will Smith. Hey, Will. Will's out there. He's asking Lightning, do you normally start big, then regress, or start smaller with presses? So I think he's talking to somebody specific.
I actually played with Will this past January in Vegas. Great guy.
Yeah.
So
Will Smith has recently joined the Craps Nation chat and quickly become a fan favorite.
Not as favorite as me, but no one can beat me.
Yeah, that's a matter of opinion. All right, Super Mario. Will at the Cromwell, you just turn around and see the hot girls in line for the club.
Nice.
Okay, I think I'm missing part of the conversation over here. I got to say, this is one of the things that I don't like about this software that I use. It takes forever to go through the chat and try to pick up something. So I pick a couple of people and I throw things in, and I don't really know what I'm doing, and you never know what you're going to get. Let's see here. Dice Grinders. Let's go back with Arnell. I don't do anyone's strategy but my own, which is automatic to me. Yeah, you do you, Arnell, and it's working for you. We've seen some of your wins lately, and you're doing very well. I don't see any reason why you should change. Lou Louie out there, he's a fan of the link. Hey Lou, what do you think? Have you played at O'Shea's out there by the link? Last time I was there, it's just a single table in that little bitty bar right outside the link or inside the link, actually. But I loved that table. That was a kind of a hard surface table. It wasn't as tall as some of the tables at the Caesars properties, at the other Caesars properties. So that one was a good one for me to play on.
We actually, James Dice Tosser for Life, Senor Moo and I played at that table at O'Shea's back in January. It's a firm table too. If you
Yeah.
get if you get like your landing zone all lined up, you can kill those dice pretty easily.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm going to drop the link out there again. And again, anybody wants to join us, might come in, ask a question, make a comment, or give us a trip report, anything like that. I'm just trying to get as many people to come in and be on the show that wants to. All right, let's come back over here to some of the questions. Looks like Wager answered us. He's slow and is tricky writing a book, so maybe a couple of months. All right, buddy. Nice. You call me first. I want the first copy and have it signed. I'll be glad to place that order as soon as you are ready for it. And our friend Patty from across the pond. You're going viral, Slam.
You need to delete those videos, sir.
Yeah, we're going to leave it like that. Hey, we've got Brian out there from Hawaiian Crap Shooters. Aloha, Brian. And hit that like button. Yeah, everybody hit that like button. That's
right. Push it.
Push it. Come on, push the button.
Push the button.
Yeah, let's see here. Pit Boss. He's asking about what's Craps Hawaii. Yeah, I guess you can see my shirt. I have a very good friend that has a YouTube channel called Craps Hawaii. His name is Mel Lumho, and he is a strategist. And I actually, I talk about that I don't play a lot of the strategies. Well, I do play his. His are generally sound and make money if you follow them the way he teaches them. So everybody, if you get a chance, go check out Mel Lumho at Craps Hawaii on YouTube. Now, we've also got some other Hawaiians in the house. We've got Hawaiian Crap Shooters, Brian and his crew. Also, they are doing a lot of strategy videos. Now, Brian, one of the things that he does that's a little bit different is he will talk about techniques. Now, you don't see that a lot on YouTube. You don't see a lot of people talking about landing zones or grips. I think that's a niche or a niche that somebody who knows what they're doing can get into. Actually, Ed, the first guest we had on here, his channel, he talks a little bit about that too. So watch for those types of channels, guys, and pay attention to what they're trying to tell you. All right, and we've got several of them going through here. A short table downtown is the Downtown Grand. Now, I gotta say, I've never played at the Downtown Grand. I don't think I have. I'll have to check it out next time that I go. And earlier in this show, we were giving the trip report how I've been down to Oklahoma. Well, I hope to get to Colorado here again in the next couple of months, and then Vegas maybe this summer or this fall. A lot of it does depend on when I can get the vaccine, when my wife can get the vaccine, and things like that. And whether you support it or don't support it, I'm getting it, and I'm trying to stay as safe as I can until I've got it. So that's about all I want to say about that. Okay, here we go. We've got God, Truth Forever, and Amen. Now, please ask if anybody knows if Atlantic City is still all plexiglass. Now, I know we've got the East Coast Crap Shooter out there watching. ECC, can you maybe give us a little trip on a report on plexiglass in Atlantic City? Nick from New York City, what is your dice set on a bouncy table? Slam, why don't you take this one?
My dice set on a bouncy table? Eesh. Usually going with the 3V set, 3-1, 3-2, and I'm keeping my bets minimal until I get an accurate feel for how much it's going to bounce. I might even start playing the don'ts.
Mm-hmm. So for me on a super bouncy table, I might set the all sevens and try as light of a toss as I can. Just want a little bit of disruption. I don't want a lot. Right. I'll try to put a little extra spin on a bouncy surface, and I'll try to hit it as close to the back wall as I can. Bouncy tables are tough, and
You want to mitigate that. You want to mitigate that as much as possible. I won't shoot a bouncy table from anywhere but SR or SL1.
Yeah,
Just doing it across, you have so little control.
yeah. So use your strategies appropriately, right? So if you've got a table that you
Right.
can't play at, and it's the only table that you have available, you better come down quick.
Yep.
All right, let's see here. Who else we've got? Low Roller Craps out there. He says the Downtown Grand is cool. It's bouncy. It's a bouncy table.
What's up, LRC?
Anyone?
Oh, for
Sorry about that.
you know
Slambright.
what?
Forgive me.
I'm not like, if anyone's got a job out there for me, I'm not so high and mighty that I won't accept it. Money's money,
Within reason.
right?
All right. So sorry about that, Slam. I didn't read it before I put it up there.
It's all good. I'll get lightning back later.
Okay, so William's saying that the dealers aren't necessarily all that great. You know what I found about dealers, though, and William, I don't mean to go against what you're saying here, is that a lot of times one crew will appeal to one personality, where another crew appeals to another.
Right.
My favorite crew that I've played with, and Lynn Berg, he's out there in the chat also. My favorite crew was the crew we had at Tonkawa about a year ago. A bunch of college-age kids that, they were grateful for the tips. They were friends. They were friendly with each other. So many dealers, this is a job, and they do their job. But that particular crew appealed to me. I like that crew. But somebody that's very serious, they don't want all the cutting up and things like that. So it can definitely make a difference.
The crew at Century Casino, when we had the big Black Hawk meetup, they were all making jokes at each other's expense. That was a fun table to stand at.
Yeah, they did have an excellent crew. I love that crew. Hopefully they're coming back. With Colorado shutting down their tables and opening their tables, I imagine some of the employees get lost in the shuffle.
Right.
I'm hoping that they can bring some of their people back. And
it was actually kind
back,
of right. It was
back.
actually kind of interesting back at the very beginning when they first opened up the casinos in Deadwood, South Dakota. The first ones opening up across the nation, and we went with the delegation from the Color Up Club. They had dealers from everywhere. Some were from Colorado, some were from Vegas, some were from the East Coast.
Yeah.
Because it was the only work that they could find.
Yep, exactly. All right, Lou Louie played in Florida this week. 10-foot table, very playable, no glass, and 3 to a side. That looks on a 10-foot table. That's rare. I don't know that I've seen 10-foot tables out in the wild.
I think that's the electronic.
The shoot to. Yeah.
Yeah, the shoot to
roll
the
to
shoot
win.
To, yeah, roll to win table.
There's shoot to win and roll to win, and I get the two confused. One of them is a bubble craps machine. One is the electronic craps table that you and I played on.
Right.
All right, you've got a question out here from Will Smith. Ask Slam what his favorite strategy is, and why is it agricultural subsidies?
Boy.
The field.
Wow.
People just won't let that go.
So it's fine. So interestingly enough, everybody thinks that I hate the field. I don't hate the field. I like to roll with the ribbing because it's fun. I don't hate it, and I will bet on the subsidies from time to time. The point is, and I think if you've watched Color Up's video on the field and progressive field betting and some other content on YouTube about the field, playing the field excessively as you keep going, it turns into a progressively worse and worse bet. And so that's why I don't. And normally, because every single time that I play the field, it comes up with a 5.
So that was a two-part question. What is your favorite strategy?
Um, so when I was in January, um, I actually was working with uh, most my most successful was at Ellis Island, where I started with um, $22 inside, dollar on each of the hardways, and I was just pressing and collecting a lot like you were. But every single time that I would hit the hard way, I would raise it by $1, and that worked out well for me. Obviously, it didn't hurt that my first roll at Ellis was a 40 plus roll,
Yeah.
and the second one was a 30. But I mean, that's fun. Honestly, my favorite strategy, and I've said it again and again and again: know your shooter. Know your shooter. I don't play the pass line, I don't play the don't. If I'm looking at the shooter and they're grabbing the dice and they're just rubbing it against the board and throwing it and doing the little snap and all that, I'm not going to bet hard on that,
Yeah.
because you're going that is just money waiting to be lost.
So we got another question
So
out there for you. And I apologize if I missed this, but do you have a channel? Do you have a YouTube channel?
I have a YouTube channel with that many videos on it.
Zero videos. Okay.
So maybe once things settle down and I'm able to get my own practice station and whatnot, I can bring my own brand of quirky, hilarious comedy to the Craps Nation. But as of right now, no.
I
I have a
forward to
face that
day.
was made for radio.
Well, I would look forward to seeing some of your videos. Your commentary would be epic. All right, so we've got East Coast Craps out there responding to the question about Atlantic City. As far as I know, they all have glass. So if anybody knows otherwise, please drop a comment out there.
Yeah.
And Mike with Dice is back on the comments. He's heading to Vegas and Laughlin in late March. Oh, good luck. Good luck, Mike.
Yeah, definitely.
Bird Dog 301. Sorry, the wife frowns on watching live craps at the dinner table. Sorry, man. Sorry, Bird Dog. All right, and Patty, he's hoping. Let's see if I can move this up so we can see it a little bit. He's hoping to get across to Vegas in September for his birthday on the 23rd. He'd be great to meet as many of the people as we can. Yeah, that would be fantastic, Patty. I'd love to meet you.
I guarantee I'm getting stinking hammered with Patty when he makes it across the pond.
Yeah. So he doesn't have anything booked yet, but I'm sure he, just like everybody else, kind of watching the news. When's it safe to travel? When the borders are going to open up, and he'll be here as soon as he possibly can. Okay, let's see here. We got from the pit boss saying a bouncy table, find another table or go home.
Yeah.
Not worth playing, but a little bouncy, lower shot. Yeah, pit boss, I think that's great advice when you're in a place that, like Vegas, where you have a lot of options. Here where I'm at in Wichita, Kansas, we only have we only have 2 casinos within a driving distance that have a table. The Kansas Star, which their tables are a little bouncy, and I don't play there often. In fact, I haven't played at Kansas Star in over a year. I've got a friend, Chuck and Dice, that he does pretty well at the Kansas Star, and we're gonna meet up there someday, and he's gonna show me. He's gonna teach me how to play on that table. And hey, we've got Mel Lumho out there watching. Great seeing everyone chatting with Dave. Mel, I'm doing you proud, buddy. I'm doing you proud. Let's see here. We've got a plexiglass is everywhere in AC. NJ Polka Guy, thank you very much for that. appreciate the confirmation. Oh, we've got Sam I Am out there watching tonight. Not exactly sure, but he's definitely in September. He's going to try to go when Patty's going to be there. So I imagine a lot of communication will happen when Patty's able to come over, and I'm sure a lot of players would like to be out there and meet him.
We'll probably put it together like the AC trip in May.
Yeah. I'm just scrolling through some of the comments here, and it looks like we're kind of getting caught up. Let's see here. Slam is right about the field. The field is a tool, not a strategy. And that's classic wager right there.
Right.
It's a tool. It's a tool to be used in certain circumstances. It's not something that you want to use every single bet.
I mean, like if we're looking at the payouts, are you winning 14 out of 30 times? Sure. But if you're one of those that wants to hit double in the bubble or whatnot, why not just continuously put $1 on the high low or $2 on the high low? You're going to get so much more money out of that, and you will have more chances to hit it because realistically, you're going to have a lower dollar threshold to play on the horn than you're going to have to play the table minimum on the field. And especially when that comes out to be like if you're playing on a $15 or a $25 table, not me because I'm not rich, but I don't want to put $25 in the field. If I want to get rich off of a 12 or a 2, I'll just put a couple of dollars on the high low. If it hits, it hits. If not, oh well. I think in the end, you probably make more money utilizing the place bets and like a little bit of horn action than continuously going on the field over and over and over.
Yeah. Then we got, again, Mr. Miyagi Melum Ho out there. Playing the field is okay as long as you progress to a 5, 6, and 8, getting paid double once you have the 4, 9, and 10 placed. So, he's saying that use the field, use it to help you fill out the numbers, and then stop.
Right.
And then just stop it.
Yeah.
And wager me this, I didn't know he was so funny, but I honestly didn't know Slam was so articulate.
Neither did I.
All right, here we go. God, truth, and forever and amen. My dice dealer is a Midwest strictly. Does anyone know what size most casinos use? 3/4 or 775?
I think it's probably a mix of both.
It probably is a mix. In fact, the Diamond Joe Worth up in northern Iowa, they use both. My local casinos, the tribal casinos down in Oklahoma, they use the smaller ones. Kansas Star, I believe, uses the smaller ones too, but I'm not 100% positive of that. So I don't think we're going to find a good answer for you there.
Right.
All right. Wager me this, saying Kansas Star is his favorite casino. Jacob, I don't know if the last time that you were there was the same time that I was there, when we were there together that night. That was back when they still had a fairly hard surface table. They have put on new layouts, and I'm pretty sure they put the layout over the old one, and it's added a bounce to all of their tables. And they may have actually put more of an underlayment under there, but it's not the same table that you might remember.
I want to go to that super high class casino in it was either somewhere along Kansas, Oklahoma border that's sitting in a warehouse in the middle of nowhere. That looked super inviting. I can't remember the name.
That describes just about every casino in Oklahoma, man. And
that looks like the casino where you go and you get murdered if you get too lucky and take too much money from the house.
Well, No, no.
YouTube,
isn't
YouTube
what happened.
etiquette. You're right. My bad.
No, but you are right. A lot of the casinos in Oklahoma, they are in prefabricated buildings. It looks like maybe an old two-screen movie theater sometimes, or
Right.
a storage facility with neon lights. But once you get inside, the inside is decorated just like you would in any other casino, and they have slot machines and table games and whatnot. In most cases, it has a look and a feel of a real casino. And to me, casinos are kind of like pizza. Sometimes you want the deep dish Chicago style pizza, right? And sometimes you just want Little Caesars. Yeah, it kind of depends on your mood. Well, you've got the Vegas, the high end, the resorts, and then you've got the honky tonk casinos. And I got to tell you, I actually enjoy the small honky tonk casinos more than I do the big resorts. They're not as crowded. They're not as hoity-toity. The players are generally, I don't know, not happier necessarily, but friendlier. But yeah, it's I like the small casino feel. I'm comfortable there. All right, so I think wager me this is. I think I've been to every Oklahoma casino. Yeah, I wish I could remember. For some reason, 88 sticks in my head. It's like they have an insane number of casinos in a small little state. All right, so I don't think we're going to get any more people in. In fact, we're actually running up to the end of the show. So Slambright, I'm going to appreciate you coming on. I'm going to go ahead and drop you off here, and I'm going to set up the show for next week. All right, guys, thank you very much. Now, change the screen. So I do have some breaking news, I guess is the best way to put it. We've got a couple of big name guests that are going to be on the next few weeks. Next week, we have Steve Heavy Haltom and Mark Evangelisto from Axis Power Craps. They're going to be joining us, talking a little bit about what they do with Axis Power Craps and giving an overview of Bone Tracker. And if we're lucky, we're going to get a sneak peek or a discussion about Bone Tracker 2.0, the new version that's about to come up. And we also have Jeremy from the Color Up Club. Sorry, guys. I didn't put it on mute. Yep, so we got Jeremy from the Color Up Club also going to join us in March. We'll be talking to him about the origins of Color Up and his betting strategies and his journey in the game of craps. And then just yesterday, I got confirmation from Spike from the Two Morons Talking About Casinos and Stuff. Spike is going to join us. Don't know about Teabag yet, but we're going to find out soon. But at least Spike is. At least we're going to have one of the morons on the show. So so that's coming up soon. But before I let you go tonight, I did put together a promo that I want to show for Heavy's show. All right, guys, let's take a look, and we're going to fall into the credits right after there. So thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate it, and we'll talk to you all later.